Today, people are using drones in amazing ways, whether it's taking breathtaking aerial photography, delivering small items, capturing live events, or shooting great movies. Drones are being used in some of the coolest ways ever imagined, and many of you are excited to buy one. But before you take your drone out for its first flight test, you need to be aware of the rules and regulations that the Federal Aviation Administration and the Greenwood Village City Council has put in place for flying drones in the country and in Greenwood Village. All of your protection and safety keeps the skies safer for everyone. But first, let's find out how the Greenwood Village Police Department is using drones to keep you safe.
So the police are using drones for many different applications. The primary one you use it for is for search and rescue. If there's a missing person, it helps us find the person. Another way is for accident scene investigations. So we can fly the drones with a special software that we use that maps the accident scene, and it tells us exactly where the debris is located, skid marks, and it actually takes measurements. So we can come back later on and revisit the software and revisit the crime scene and get actual measurements of the crime scene. So that's a big thing for us at the police department. Usually it takes us about 2 to 4 hours to complete an accident investigation, depending on the size of it. Just recently on I-25, we had an 11-car accident that we were able to open up the highway in less than 50 minutes. So the drones contributed to safety for the police department by opening up those accident scenes a lot quicker. We also use it in high incident events such as Village Green, where we can use it for safety and security for the people attending those type of events. Our tactical team or our SWAT team uses it when they're dealing with the situations with suspects.
Owning a drone can be exciting and fun, but the associated rules and regulations around drone operations can be difficult to interpret. It just depends on whether you use the drone for fun or for commercial purposes.
So some of the basic rules for FAA flying recreationally include flying below 400 feet outside of an airport airspace, keeping your drone within sight. You never want to fly near other aircraft, especially near airports. You never want to fly above groups of people. Never fly over stadiums or sports events. Never fly near emergency response efforts such as fires. You don't want to operate your drone if you're under the influence of any type of alcohol, medication, and be aware of your airspace requirements. You don't want to fly after dark, even if your drone has night lights. Dark is considered 30 minutes before official sunrise and 30 minutes after official sunset. So the rules for commercial pilots requires that they must be certified FAA Part 107 pilots through the FAA. So all users need to register their drones through the FAA. This is a requirement by the FAA. It's a simple process. You go online to the FAA website, you answer the questionnaire, make the payment, and within a few minutes you'll have the registration. In addition, the requirement is that you need to print out the registration number and stick it on the drone.
Did you know there is a rule for flying near airports? Even if you do not think you're that close, you may just be.
So the distance requirement and other requirements for operating a drone near an airport is that if you're flying within 5 miles of the airport's airspace, as a hobbyist, you need to contact the tower and advise them that you'll be flying in that area. This makes the area safe for manned aircraft, and also to be notified if there's any temporary flight restrictions in that area. You can also use some websites like Know Before You Fly that actually you can find the area that you're in, and it'll tell you if you're in an airport airspace or if you're in a restricted airspace. Once that's completed and you notify the airport will let you know if it's okay to fly in their airspace. Always keeping in mind that you need to be below the altitude that they tell you to stay at. If you're a commercial pilot, you have to get prior authorization. And this is also another program on the website that's called LANCE. What that does is you indicate where you're going to be flying within that airspace. The request gets sent to the airport, and within seconds you'll receive an authorization back from the airport indicating which area you can fly in. So keep in mind, a lot of times with the airports, even though we have the regulations of below 400, you'll have aircrafts coming in, like on a landing, and they'll be flying at below 400, like 200, 300, and even up to like 150 before they land. So if you're in that area or in that flight path, that's extremely dangerous. So that's what the airport authorizes.
In addition to federal rules and regulations over drones, the Greenwood Village City Council recently adopted a new law to help address safety and privacy concerns of residents and regulate bad drone operator behaviors.
The purpose of the new Greenwood Village ordinance regarding drone use is to regulate the behavior of operators, keeping in mind the safety and privacy of our community. The ordinance includes regulations such as invasion of privacy, taking photographs, sound, or any other physical impression where someone has a reasonable expectation of privacy, harassment, operating the drone in a manner that is meant to annoy, harass, or alarm people or animals that are on the property. This also includes observing, recording, or taking photographs without their permission. The ordinance also includes trespassing, which is operating, launching, or landing the drone on private property without the consent from the property owner. There are also other charges, both at the state level, that could be enforced. It includes like reckless operation of the drone, and if you use the drone in a reckless manner and then ultimately hurt someone, you could actually be charged with assault. And finally, interference with a police officer or firefighter operations. And that means you're operating the drone in a manner that hinders the police officers or the firefighter's ability to do his duties.
You have your drone, and we just equipped it with some knowledge and tips as a pre-flight checklist to help you fly safely. So what's next?
So some tips that I always give to new drone users is always do your pre-flight checklist. Make sure that the equipment is ready to go. You have plenty of power to fly, to get to where you want to go and come back. Know where you're flying, so visit those websites. Know before you fly. Make sure you're not violating any type of airspace. I always like to include adding an observer, someone who's not the pilot, so somebody who's watching with you to ensure that there's no aircraft coming in your area or a power line, so something like that that you might not see while you're flying.
Drones, a not-so-new technology that is changing the world we live in, as quoted by Bill Gates. Drones overall will be more impactful than I think people recognize in positive ways to help society. So don't forget to look up. I am Jack Strandes, reporting for GV Kids Inc.